Hi. It seems like it's been forever since we've been together. But I want to tell you that today about this cute little toy I found at the store back a long time ago when Grandma still went to the store. But isn't it the cutest little mouse? Look, she's wearing a babushka and she's got on her little skirt. And she made me think about a couple stories that really happened years and years ago. When Grandma was a little girl, she had a favorite uncle whose name was Uncle Fred. And Uncle Fred was very clever. Do you know that he would come to our house and in his pocket he had a little mousie? He did. And if you were a very good little boy or girl, he would get Mousie out of his pocket and very carefully put Mousie in the cup of his hands. And then he would bring his hands up to your ear. If you were really quiet, you could hear little Mousie go squeak, squeak. None of us ever saw Mousie, but we all heard Mousie squeak, squeak. Now, I know that there are some grown-ups who remember Mousie. Charlie, if you ask your mommy, and Gabe, if you ask mommy, they will tell you about remembering Mousie because you see, Uncle Fred was your mommy's grandpa, and that makes him your great grandpa. And he was famous for keeping a little tiny mouse in his pocket. Now, I have another story about a mouse, and this is absolutely the truth. It's not made up. When Grandma was a young mother, if you remember, I told you I lived in a big house with many children. In the big house on Derbyshire Road, there was a big bedroom. And in that bedroom, there was a big girl bed, two cribs, two dressers, a desk, a bookcase with some books and toys on it, and even a rocking chair. And right next to the big bedroom, there was a big bathroom. That bathroom was so big you could kick your legs up and dance in it and not hit your ankle on anything. I know because I tried it once. Well, one time I was in the bathroom and I'm embarrassed to say, I was practicing my ballet kicks. And while I was doing a pirouette, which is a turn on one foot, I looked up and the ceiling on top of our bathtub was wet. Now, when you take a bath or a shower, the water's supposed to come down, not up. So I figured something was wrong and I called the plumber. Well, Hank the plumber came out and he cut a big hole in my ceiling. And he cut the hole right above the bathtub and he fixed the leaky pipe. He put in a new pipe. So he was all finished and there was a big hole in my ceiling. Grandpa Leo looked at the hole and he said, "Oh, I can fix that. I'll fix that tomorrow." So, well, guess what? Tomorrow became yesterday, and then it became last week. And then before long, we kind of forgot and didn't even notice the hole in the ceiling anymore until one night. Grandma was in the rocking chair, rocking one of the little girls back to sleep, when she heard this little noise, thump, a little thump, and then swish, 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 swish. Grandma put the baby back to bed, and she went into the bathroom and turned on the light, and there, in the bathtub, was a little gray mouse. That was the thump I heard. The little gray mouse fell from the ceiling. and she was trying very hard to get out of the bathtub. She would scurry to the edge of the bathtub and try climbing up the side, and swoosh, she would fall back down. And then she'd crawl up again because there was nothing to hang on to. So she'd run halfway up the side of the bathtub, swish, she came back down, sliding, just like you would slide on a hill if you were going sled riding, poor little mouse. So I went in and I woke up Grandpa Leo. He said, Leo, you have to get up. There's a mouse in the bathtub. Well, Leo didn't say a word. He just grabbed the poor sleeping cat that was at the foot of the bed, grabbed that cat, threw her into the bathroom, and slammed the door. Oh, my goodness. That poor kitty, she had no idea why she was so rudely interrupted and why she was thrown into a bright bathroom. And she let out a howl that sounded like the banshees. She was just howling and screaming. Oh, so I shut my laser mean eyes at Grandpa, and he went back to bed. Oh, so I opened up the bathroom door, and the cat jumped out at me and leapt and ran away, never knowing there was a mouse in the bathtub. But the poor little mouse knew there was a cat in the bathroom, and she was trying so hard to hide in the corner of the bathtub. That gave me an idea. So I went to the kitchen and I got a brown paper bag. I opened it up and put it in the bathtub because I thought maybe the little mouse wanted someplace dark to hide. And sure enough, she ran into the bag, and I quick lickety-split grabbed that bag, held it real tight, and then, I was definitely left holding the bag. Now what was I going to do? Couldn't leave the mouse in the bag because, mice can eat right through paper. I didn't want to throw her out the window because I'm at the second floor and I didn't want to hurt the poor thing. I didn't want to put her out by the door because then she'd just come right back in. I checked the boys' room, and there was a turtle in one tank and 2 newts in the other tank, so I really couldn't put the little mouse in there. There was only one thing to do. So there I went, my raggedy old nightgown with a couple rollers in my hair and my bare feet, and I marched right down those big front steps, out the front door, and across the street at really dark nighttime, in the middle of the night, went across the street into the wooded lot. Well, I don't know if any of you have ever stepped on Legos in your bare feet. That hurts, but if you've ever stepped on pine cones on your bare feet, that really hurts. So Grandma's holding the bag and walking in her bare feet in the woods. Ooh, ah, ooh, 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 ah. But I didn't go too far into the woods because it hurt my feet. And that little mouse was kind of running back and forth in the bag, trying to figure out what in the world happened. So I put the bag down, let the mouse scurry away, and headed back home. So I'm coming out of the woods, still going, ooh, ow, ooh, holding my bag. And wouldn't you know, the paper man with his big delivery truck was dropping off papers right there on the corner. Now, I don't understand why he looked at me so funny. I mean, really, have you never seen a lady in her bare feet holding an empty paper bag at 4:30 in the morning crossing the street? I waved to him and said, hi, and he just pretended he didn't see me. Anyway, I went home, marched in the house, and tried to get some rest. Later that day, as I was paying the man who came to fix the ceiling, I kind of made up with Grandpa Leo by giving him a peck on the cheek, but I was still kind of had angry feelings at that guy, I'll tell you. Anyway, we learned a lesson that night, and here it is. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today, because today's problem is going to be bigger, and it might lead to more problems the next day and the next day. So that is the absolute truth of what happened to Grandma in the big house on Derbyshire. And that's why that cute little mouse reminded me of that story that I had forgotten about. But that is really the truth. I hope that all of you are being safe and being healthy. And remember, wash your hands. But most of all, be kind and be loving. Love one another. And I can't wait to see you guys again. I love you so much. Mwah. Bye.